Got these little PVC plugs. They're flat on one side. I'm going to use these on the chandelier. So I want these to be black, so I'm going to spray paint them. Alright, so I'm ready to get started mapping out my game plan here. I've already got my voltage tester, made sure these wires are good to go. There's 3 wires here, one's for a ceiling fan, so I'm going to cap that off. Everything else is going to pigtail off of these 2 guys. And the idea, I'll have a canopy here, and then each rope is going to go out to a point on the ceiling and then drop down. It's all going to go out at random heights. So here I need to just kind of get a tape measure, eyeball it, see more or less where I want them. I'm going to use blue tape to mark where they are. That way I can go down and then evaluate and make adjustments, see how I like it. I got a pretty good tool here. This is my stripper. Got this from Radio Shack a long time ago. I don't know if they still sell it, but makes stripping wire really easily. Went ahead and measured this out. I want to pull off 2.5 inches of the sheathing here. Somewhat arbitrary, but that's just enough wire without being too much. Okay, so now each one is done. We're not going to really use the ground wire. I might just cut those off. But I've got enough room to play with here up in the box, and then enough nice twisted clean wire to get into the wire nut. I'm going to fuse all 6 of these together and connect them to the top there. Alright, so this is the canopy that's going to go up to the ceiling. I've got 6 thick cords that need to go through this hole. I couldn't find exactly what I wanted to buy, so I'm going to have to modify this. I've got my drill set to the highest setting, and I've got this little 1-inch bit. It's actually designed for cutting wood, but I should be able to cut through this. Went ahead and put some blue tape on both sides. That way when it does punch through, hopefully it doesn't chip off pieces of the finish. I've got some spray paint to touch it up if necessary, but hopefully I get a nice clean cut through and a nice hole. I'll sand those off so that it's not sharp and won't cut the edges. Might even wrap a little electrical tape to protect it. That was pretty good. So I just need to sand down and clean that edge up a little bit. It's kind of sharp, but we've got our 1-inch hole. Alright, I've got my little PVC plugs that I have here. I spray painted them black. Now I'm going to put a hole through the side that I'll be able to loop my wire through. So I've got the drill bit that's just big enough so it'll still pinch the cord. I've got these guys clamped down, so I need to make a nice straight drill through it. Just got to do that 6 more times. Got my little hole there. Might have to touch it back up just a bit. So these are going to attach to the ceiling, so I need to make one more hole in them. I need these to fit through, so I'm going to make a screw hole in the top. It's just about the size of this screw here, and then I'll put another washer inside to make sure that that's good. So I've got all these ready to go. They're ready to be installed now. Got my hole through the top, hole through the side. I'm just going to get a utility knife, clean some of these shavings off, make sure it's nice and smooth. Then I'm going to repaint it, make sure all this newly exposed areas are nice and black. Alright, so I've got all 6 of my points marked exactly where I want them. I've gone down and looked and decided that it's good placement. So now I'm going to stick my drywall anchors in. The process here, these drywall anchors go into the drywall and they create a secure spot where I'm able to put a screw in and it'll have a nice hold, whereas if I just put it straight into the sheetrock, it would pull right out of the sheetrock with any weight or force on it. So this gives that extra strength. Okay, I've got all my prep work kind of done here. It's time to start actually assembling the chandelier. First thing I'm going to do is get these cap pieces that we put together. I drilled a hole in the top. These screws are going to go through that hole in the top and connect them to these drywall anchors we just put in. I also have a little washer on the end of those to give it a little extra strength. Got all my cords here. On an extra piece of tape, I'm going to use this to temporarily hold everything in the middle. So I'm going to start assembling the chandelier. Alright, time to get this thing wired up. This canopy that I purchased came with this pretty generic little fixture. So it just sticks right onto the box up here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get this wired, trying to get a little closer shot so you can see what we're doing here. Basically getting all of the black and the white wires put together, and then we're going to connect those to the black and white here in the ceiling, and we'll have power to our light. now that I have all these together, I'd cut them long. I'm gonna bring them down the size. Throw a little extra tape just to be safe. Okay, I'm gonna tuck some of this up into the box and see if I can find space up there. This canopy is pretty full of excess wire. These caps on the end of the screws are what holds the canopy up. This last step here is going to just be putting these bulbs on. They're an Edison light bulb. This is an antique bulb, so it has some interesting filaments in it. I'm going to set this up with a dimmer switch. I'll install that in just a second. These are 60-watt smoke-finished Edison antique light bulbs. So kind of a specific look, but that's the idea. That's the finished product. So it's just going to dangle there, kind of industrial look. Let's see what it looks like.